authorized. To Washington, the Senate Judiciary Committee says it will not consider any Supreme Court nominees submitted by President Obama. That's it. It's done. The next Supreme Court justice will wait for a new president. Judge Napolitano is here. Am I right? Is it done? It's over? Or could there be a recess appointment, I guess?
Well, a recess appointment, if the president made a recess appointment, he can only make it when there is a genuine, bona fide recess. And under a recent Supreme Court decision about what is a genuine, bona fide recess, the Senate decides when it is in recess. It is extremely unlikely that they would do that. He had an opportunity because at the time of Justice Scalia's death, the Senate was legitimately, in its own words, in a recess. He could have made a recess appointment at the time. Okay. A recess appointment is not a lifetime appointment. It exists until the end of the Senate term following the present one. Okay. Meaning a recess appointment would, if he made it, say there's a recess tomorrow, would last until January 1919.
You know, I didn't need to know the A to Z of recess appointments.
Well, by your silence, I thought you wanted me to keep talking.
No. I just didn't interrupt you. Is it over? The Senate Judiciary says we're not going to convoke.
Okay, yes or no? Let me tell you what they went through yesterday. Yesterday, they went through the following dilemma. Would we have more intellectual credibility if we say no now, before we know who the nominee is? Or would we have more intellectual credibility if we say no next week after we know who the nominee is? And they decided they'd have more credibility now, but he could trap them because there is an unwritten Senate rule, which they will not transgress, which says if the president nominates a sitting senator, the Senate shall take up that nomination in due course.
Okay, is there any sitting senator who would be in line for a Supreme Court
on many of the short lists is Senator Amy Klobuchar, a liberal Democrat lawyer and former legal scholar.
Whoa!
Whose attitudes about the Constitution would suit the president very nicely, and whose the refusal of which to take up her nomination would be totally unprecedented, even for Republicans that want to stymie Barack Obama.
That's fascinating.
Now, I'm not suggesting the president should do this, and none of this is novel.
But do you know for a fact that she's on a short list? Do you know that?
No, I have seen her name on a short list, but candidly, Stuart, the short lists come from the media. From the media, they don't come from the White House.
He's right. Ashley's right. Now she's on the short list.
Right.
You just put her on the short list. But here, look, it's a serious question. Who would want to be nominated? You know,
a sitting judge would not want to be nominated in an environment of near certain rejection.
Exactly.
Right.
And your life's going to be turned upside down for at least a year.
Right.
You're not your own person any longer.
Some people have survived this. Judge Doug Ginsburg went through this 25 years ago, and he had a stellar career in the past 25 years.
He smoked marijuana, right?
Yeah, he smoked marijuana when he was a college student. But for a year, his life was turned upside down. He obviously overcame it, and he's a brilliant scholar, respected on both sides of the aisle. But a lot of people wouldn't want to go through even that year or that 6-month period.
You would.
No comment. I don't expect my phone to be ringing from the West Wing.
You are not going to be on the short list. You understand that, don't you?
On anybody's short list.
You'd be on mine, I might add. In the unlikely event that I'm the president.
Right. Natural-born citizen.
Ted Cruz? I won't go further than that. Judge Napolitano, thank you very much indeed, sir.
See you later.
Making